Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of the Heavens Demons podcast, episode 39. We're coming up on the big 4-0.
39.
How are we feeling this week? We doing good?
Feeling well.
Feeling great?
Who are you?
I am one of you. Thank you for that. I am one of your lovely hosts, Arturo.
I'm the other one, Adam.
And please comment, like, and subscribe, folks. It does help us out tremendously. If you guys can, go ahead and share, comment, please. The more interaction, the better.
Mm-hmm.
We thank you immensely if you do so. And even if it's a negative comment, hey, you know what? We're all for feedback.
I love to see a negative comment.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to critique us, I'm curious to see what the critique would be.
No one's above critiquing.
Nah.
I almost lost myself in that sentence right there.
I get it. Where are we at?
We're asking each other how the weekend was. How we been?
Let me get a drink of water.
I'll go first while you're drinking water. I've been great, motivated, inspired, empowered. A little sad.
I was gonna say, when did you feel all that inspiration? Like, was there a time? Was it Coachella?
Yeah.
Was it? Go ahead. I'll let you go.
It was, yeah, Coachella weekend. Drugs, they'll do that to you. Opening clarity, and when you see what your goals are, your dreams, or actually rephrase it, strike that, reverse it. When you see your dreams,
Name now, flip it, and reverse it.
Hey man, I'm quoting Willy Wonka. You're quoting something completely different. When you see your goals or you see your dreams and you turn them into goals, drugs will help you do that. But yeah, motivated, inspired, finalizing the stuff we've been working on. It's right behind our head. We'll talk about it in like 3 minutes, but seeing all that come to life after months, and you've been working on stuff for so long, and sometimes it could feel defeating because you're not there yet. We live in a microwave society where we feel like as soon as you have the idea, it should just be the success instantaneously.
Boom. You should be up and running like that overnight.
Yeah, and that was the furthest thing in both things that I'm talking about. Furthest thing, it's not overnight. It's gonna take some time, but now that it's here, now that we had the event, we'll talk about it right now. I feel great. I feel like finally.
It did kind of feel like a little bit of weight off your shoulders, and that's saying a lot because
I can carry a lot of weight.
That's not what I was gonna say. For those of you who can't see, forbidden fruit juice is something we've been working on for a long time.
Can they see that in the frame a little bit?
No, they can see it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they can read it clearly. That's a whole different story.
That's something different.
But it's something we've been working on for a while, and it's something that we're both passionate about. And it was it was a small event. Like, we had a taste test event with all of our closest friends and family, and it wasn't like the most formal presentations. It wasn't anything fancy. It was just pretty much the people we generally fuck with, and we want them to feel involved and a part of it. They got to be there. They got to taste the juice. They got to go ahead and experience what it looks like, what it feels like. And even, I know it sounds like a very small event because it's like, well, you guys still haven't really done anything yet. That in itself was like, I can breathe now.
Yeah. It's because those people are the same people that have been with us from day one, and everything that we've ever started, from this podcast to my music to the clothing line and now the juice company. It's like they've all been a part of it. I've sent them ideas. I've gotten feedback from them. They've been wanting to place orders before they even tasted a juice, and then now that they saw the product, everything displayed from the banner to the bottle, like they want it. And some people are already placing orders with me, and after I've repeatedly told them
we're not taking orders.
We're not taking orders, but if you so choose, then send it to the Instagram DM for the account Forbidden Fruit Juice Co. on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you could send it in there, and I'll have it on record. That way, when we do open, your order's already accounted for, and you got to send it again, just in case like you miss it by chance. But yeah, like it's cool. It's a reason they were all there, because I mean, they've always been there, and they'll continue to be there, whether they have positive or negative thoughts about whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
It's been more positive than negative.
It's been more, and honestly, even if it was, I never think of the people that were there for the most part. When they say things and it comes off as negative, I know their intentions.
It's a constructive criticism.
Yeah, I could never get mad or take it personal when they say something, even if it sounds mean. It's like, I know you delivered that wrong. You didn't mean to say it like that, but I get the gist of what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna take it to heart. Now,
You could say his name, Mata, bro.
Mata, if you're listening to this, bro, that's why you were not allowed to put any suggestions in the suggestion box.
Because you will repeatedly tell us to our face. There's no need for you to write it down.
which we love about him. That's a good thing about Mata. But yeah, that's why we wanted such a small little intimate event like that with the close people, or our closest people, because I was okay with any type of feedback. Not saying like if I don't respect you or if I don't know you that well, I don't want your feedback. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
It's just in the beginning phases of like getting the introduction and all that, there's a lot of moving parts initially. And once you put it out there, like first impression is everything.
Yeah.
So I want to know people's first impression right away with the people I care most about and I value most.
Yeah.
If there's critiques and stuff after the fact from people, then that's fine. Like I'm always open to hearing things, but I need to know that we would be okay before we kind of go public with it.
And them
sounds like we're fucking in a relationship.
But that's how a relationship should go. You need to put all the work in. It can't just be, the idea
Before you go public, right?
Exactly. Like you have to make sure like there's a foundation here.
Yeah.
Like how embarrassing is that, bro? Like you roll out a fresh relationship and you guys don't even fucking know your favorite food.
That is tough.
Or one person puts their toothbrush away, the one leaves it out on the sink. It's like these are things that you gotta learn about somebody. If they grab toothpaste from the center or from the bottom.
Yeah.
If they like, you don't fucking know. You don't really know somebody.
Another one. How do you place your toilet paper?
To where I could just pull from the top and down.
You would think
that no, and that's how it's supposed to go.
I know, because some people flip it the other way,
and it's like, why?
It's like I gotta go under. It's like,
yeah, why do I gotta do that? Yeah. But also, I think to me, it's not that people prefer it that way. It's just that they're lazy and they don't care.
Yeah.
They're lazy and they just throw the roll on there. There's some people, not gonna name any names because he doesn't watch this podcast and I live with him, but they literally just put the toilet paper, they won't take the old roll out to put the new one on. They'll just boom right there on the counter.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Can't have it. Can't do it.
It's literally, it's fucking 10 seconds. 10 seconds at most to take it off and put the new one on and throw it away in the trash.
I don't even think that would take 10 seconds.
No, it really doesn't. But it just shows like the tiny little things and that stuff that you learn when you're building a foundation of like, fuck, do I always got to be cleaning up after this woman?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing here? Like, I wouldn't want this person constantly cleaning up after me.
No.
And that's stuff that you learn. So with the juice company, it's like, yeah, we took our time. Also, like, it takes time for this kind of stuff. Bumps in the road. If we would have opened up for orders when we wanted to, we'd be up to our neck in produce and struggling every time.
It would have been such a stress.
Yeah. And
because the way it originally happened, we got a machine, and we realized it was a good starter machine, don't get me wrong, to learn on.
To learn and to do for personal use.
In terms of like actual production line, it's not the most suitable and efficient machine.
No.
Now, does that mean we have to move things around? There was things that had to change? Absolutely. But it was good in the sense of like, wow, we were so frustrated with this one little machine. Well, it's not little either. But
it's their base model.
Yeah, it's their base model machine. And we were just like fucking just losing out. And we're like, I was just thinking in my head, I was like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a more efficient. That's always the way I think. If it's that frustrating and it's that monotonous, there's a problem. So, okay, what's the problem? How can we fix this? All right, let's look at a different machine. Same company, but let's see what the other one can do.
We went from the base model to the fully loaded package.
Somewhat, yes.
Well, the way I look at it is like we went from a Civic to an Accord.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say.
And then the next step after that is an Accord to like a Benz.
Yeah, it's a huge.
It's a dramatic fucking leap.
Holy shit! It's like big one.
But yeah, it made everything so much easy. We did all the juice the night before, and the amount of juice we were able to get done. It took us long because we had to go to Walmart to get another jug, come back. Like if we didn't, we probably got done in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, everything. And that was that's the beauty of
versus with the other machine, we would have been there all fucking night.
Oh, 2 hours would have turned into like 7.
Yeah,
probably.
And
easy.
that's with our lives and everything we have going on, that's not feasible.
No, it's not.
I'd have to quit my job to focus on the juice company that we don't even know is gonna make us money yet.
Yeah, And that's one of those things of, and I don't need a fucking my garage blowing a fuse because fucking
It's either me or the garage are gonna blow a fuse.
yeah. So we don't need that. But that's the thing of why I felt like it did take a while, because it's like we have to get the process down of like, how does this work? How do we clean? How do we make sure it's as small as like, how do we make sure the color of this juice doesn't go into the color of the next juice? Like, it's the small little things that you never think of. And it's all a part of learning it. And
it's all part of business as well, and I think that's why this one's going so well, because we took a lot of bumps and bruises in the clothing line of learning. And
a lot.
Business,
more than I'd ever want
business is, would you say, is it lateral or parallel, or what would you call it? Like the just your like business practices and like all your steps, even though clothing line and juice company are two separate businesses, but you have to be as meticulous as one as you are on the other.
Yeah, like you want everything to be linear. I think that's what you
linear's
mean.
the word.
You're gonna go ahead and veer off. It's never gonna be a straight line.
And since we took a lot of learning lessons with the clothing line in the first year and a half, to where now like we're so much farther ahead within the past week with the next stuff that we're gonna do. And I attribute that all that knowledge putting it into the juice company is like, okay, we're even way farther than what we would have been if we would have just started with what we originally had.
Yeah.
And now everything's presented the right way, because we do know the value of your first impression. We do know the value of how your bottle looks. Like, there's so much philosophies that you learn along the way that you apply. It's like, I look at the bottle as like as if it's clothes.
Yeah.
And it has to be appealing. You gotta, the name, the fucking aesthetic, everything.
Literally, how does the logo sit?
Exactly.
And mind you, there is it's fucking smaller. Well, it's thinner, more narrow than this bottle. Like, there's not much real estate on it. So that in itself, we have to think about of like, how is the logo even gonna affect how narrow it is? Now we have to change things. We have to take out things, and that was a process in itself too. Of like, we had a bunch of different samples of which different ways we could go with, and we kind of made it, I would say, more clean cut, very simple, but it's direct.
And also credit to us for not sacrificing our principles, and we wanted to be local sourced, local farmed.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted, and we
can't preach community,
Yeah,
and then like we
not.
go off and just go buy from I'll say this, it would be a lot easier and more beneficial financially for us to go with the big players, but at that point I would be like, oh, you're already a sellout and you haven't even started.
Yeah,
So
you're going the cheap way. You're going on what behooves you.
So how to throw that out the window.
And it's like, well, bro, we're trying to bring healthy alternatives to the east side of the valley, and we want to help get local produce, help local farms, and we're gonna get our produce not from there. And so you can't play both sides. No. You can't say one thing and preach one thing and practice another. Like, everything has to be consistent. Yeah. And that's another reason why it took so long as well, like waiting for those contacts and waiting for information. And I was telling this to my parents. I'm like, I'm glad it took as long as it did, because now it's something that I'm so confident in and I'm proud to present. Yeah. And like, now it's like, it's perfect timing. Summer's here. You want juice. Like, I have coffee right here because I was fucking low on energy, but granted, if I had fucking some forbidden fruit fucking Hendrix juice right here, I'd be drinking that. Yeah. If I had the other any of the juices.
I had that before I got here.
See, it's like, that shit's refreshing. It's already warming up, already in triple digits. Summer's basically here, and I don't even think it's gonna be as hot as it's gonna be. So like, you want some fucking cold juice, and with everything presented the way it is, we may or may not be wholesaling at stores near you. With more businesses that reached out to me just within from fucking Sunday to today, like another couple stores reached out to me. So it's like, I already know, like, all the work we put in, it shows. Yeah. So,
and we did get pretty good feedback from all the people that are here, and it's not that they owed us great feedback. There was honestly good critiques on there and everybody has different taste palettes and things of that sort, but I did enjoy it, and I was like, okay, you know what, that one does make sense, or you know what, I could see that. Yeah. And just kind of pick and choose with how we take all that in. But it was I would say it was a successful weekend, and not even just that. It was like a I don't know if I could describe or put a proper term to it, but I felt very relieved and I got it, grateful. There you go. Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of the fucking word.
Sometimes words are hard, bro.
They're very hard, but I was very grateful because, and mind you, when I say we're extremely in the red, it's below hell. That's how low we're in the red, and not a single dollar has been given to us. But just that in itself of like people enjoyed it, and they enjoyed just even the experience of just being around other people, and because not everybody knew each other here, but just everybody kind of mingling, and it was just a sense of like, well, the juice and us were kind of brought everything together, and that was very cool to see on our part.
Yeah, because I mean, my parents have never met Steve. Steve's never met your sisters or fucking Damien, and like everybody, like it's like I always say, bro, there's always 2 degrees of separation. Like everybody here knows somebody, but they probably never met each other.
Yeah.
So for them to like talk about the juice as like kind of like an icebreaker, and then just like being able to talk, like that's cool within itself. And yeah, man, like, and for everybody to be here in support of what we're doing was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool. Like, you're here supporting us. You didn't have to. Like, we sent the invitation, but you have no obligation.
Especially on a Friday night. Like, I get it. Some of these people are parents. Some of these people have other obligations. Yeah, I just worked all week. You know what? Friday night's the night for me to decompress. Not that I don't want to decompress with juice, but I can go drink alcohol. I get it. Yeah. But everybody kind of showed up that we expected to show up, and twas a great night.
And all of them can't wait to place their orders.
Yeah.
And should we announce the day or should we wait?
I would say let's wait, but it's going to be in the coming very soon. I would say you'll see a post within the next week or 2.
So go follow the page if you haven't.
Forbidden Fruit Juice Co. It's under construction right now, but don't worry. We want everybody to kind of follow, because when the rollout happens, you're going to kind of see why. Like it's going to look really cool when it's all placed together.
Yeah, very, very thought out on our part. There's
very
principles.
Very Heavens Demons-esque.
Everything is cohesive with us, from the Clothing Line podcast to now the Juice Company. It makes sense. It's all under the same umbrella, consistent, with the same principles of like, we put so much emphasis on community. We put so much emphasis on, bettering your health from inside out, wearing, putting the top quality clothes on, to, listening to our podcast with like the top quality content that we could think of, and stuff going on in the world with, I mean, I wouldn't say we have the top quality fucking perspective, but like, just everything, bro. Like, it's all intertwined. Yeah.
No, intertwined. Yeah. That's a proper term. But yeah, go ahead and follow the Instagram page for Forbidden Fruit Juice Co. Be on the lookout. You guys will see where we might have the juices, where they're gonna wholesale. I'm sure you'll have a few of your favorite spots in the valley there. So you'll see. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm beyond excited.
Yeah.
I can't even find the
by
words.
the way, I don't know if we mentioned, it's cold pressed juice. So legitimately
it's
cold pressed.
It's not your mom's juice.
It's not your mom's juice. That sounds.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
It's not the juice your mom would make at your house. And that's coming from a person that my mom also too likes to make juice. And I love my mother, but even she knows that when we make ours and she makes hers,
it's not the same.
It's not the same.
My great grandmother made carrot juice for my great grandfather every morning before he went out onto the ranch and was farming all day.
Yeah.
Same. I have that juicer. That's where I started juicing, was on that juicer from the fucking 60s. Yeah. And it doesn't make the same juice. It'll shred anything, but it's not the same as a cold pressed juice.
It's not the same.
You get 3 times the amount of nutrients. You don't get all that
extra
fiber, that pulpy look to it, all that texture in the juice. You get pure liquid. It's 100% cold pressed juice, locally sourced, and it's refreshing.
No preservatives.
It's
not like your local Sprouts and Whole Foods, where because trust me, I buy cold press all the time. The cold press shouldn't be lasting a month.
Yeah,
if it's
there's preservatives
month,
in it.
We got a problem. Ours won't last a month. 4 to 5 days.
Yeah,
because it's healthy.
Yeah, and the what would you call it? Our business goal, is that what you call it? Is just to bring healthy alternatives to this side of the valley instead of having to drive past Jefferson to get it. Yes. And you guys know what I mean. Like there's not much, I would say, on this side of the valley, like to where you have these healthy alternatives. Everybody, there's all the fast food restaurants. There's nothing promoting good health on this side, and we want to be able to, instead of us complaining about it, we're the type of people like, let's just do it. And finally, we were able to get down the clothing line, find a not kind of, I guess, restructure our business model and how we go about, our yearly drops to where now we have time to implement the juice company, and now when we get that down, everything will be, simpatico.
Yeah, seamless.
Exactly. And fuck it, get some Papa Heads with some juice, balance. That's all I'll say.
Shout out Matt from Papa Heads. He was also here. The fries did look delicious. He was eating his fries as he was drinking juice, and he's like, low key, this kind of goes. And in my head, I'm like, it's refreshing, and the pop, salty, I could see why.
Yeah. We're big on health. Like, you'll see us always cycling. We work out 4 to 5 times a week, hike, and we want to promote that and kind of get everybody.
Yeah. And not in the sense of because I too do not like most times of people posting a bunch of workouts at the gym. And if that's for you, that's for you. I'm not taking anything away. I'm just saying us personally.
Yeah, we're not Globo Gym.
No, and we don't promote ourselves. But with that being said, with the juice company, we're gonna go ahead and try and involve activities and juice, just things like that.
Yeah,
promote.
And also, you could still drink. We drink with this juice.
Oh, we did cocktails. Yes,
we did cocktails with this juice. At the end of the day, we're still us. Yeah. We just want to have more healthy options. That's local.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to be on a juice cleanse and only drink juice and be healthy your whole life.
And then go fucking do lines of coke like those fucking LA people.
But yeah, don't do that. It's called.
I mean, you could if you want to, but we're not promoting.
It's called having a well balanced life, and that's what we try to do here.
Everything's good in moderation.
It is great. So please be on the lookout, folks. Follow the Instagram page. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. I guess we could kind of go on to the next topic. What do we want to do? I saw the name, so I started laughing.
Are you want to talk about LA people that are on some organic coke, or what are you looking at?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I don't know if
I think her coke has meth in it.
My biggest concern is what if she's sober?
There's no way she is.
No. It's a possibility that she could not be on any she could be on pharmaceutical drugs, but what I'm saying is she might not be on any hard drugs.
Pharmaceutical drugs make sense for what she's doing because she is harassing people. At what point are we going to tell this white woman to stop harassing our people in our culture? Because I saw a video of her harassing Lil' Kim, Meg Thee Stallion, Doja Cat.
Multiple times.
Stop coming for our black queens.
Hey, multiple times. And by the way,
in one night,
bro. For those of you who don't know, we're talking about Cara Delevingne because it was the Billboard Awards, no?
Yeah, Billboard Music Awards.
Sunday. And you got, we're shooting on Tuesday, so you've probably seen all the memes on Twitter. If you guys haven't, I'm just gonna do.
She's the female Ezra Miller.
Which we'll talk about him right now too. Meg Thee Stallion, beautiful long dress, gorgeous as always. Nobody's shocked. She had this long part of her dress, and for whatever reason, I don't know if Cara Delevingne took it upon herself
after she popped out from behind the fucking backdrop.
Oh no! I'm talking about before, when they're on the red carpet.
No, bro, isn't that because there's a photo of her.
She popped out when they were won the awards.
No. This is her on the red carpet, the backdrop where Meg's taking the photos.
Yeah,
there's a photo of Cara looking like that before she even went to throw the fucking dress.
Okay, I haven't seen that photo.
Yeah, there's a lot of content
so she
of her
is
harassing.
A menace at multiple times throughout this night. Mm-hmm. She's over here flipping. I don't know what she thought she was doing. She thought she was.
She wanted you to snap the photo with the thing in motion in the air.
Which it looked beautiful, I'm sure. Yeah. But
you didn't have to do it that many times.
No.
They have high quality cameras. They caught it the first time.
She is lucky that Meg Thee Stallion is a professional, and you know what? She's like, you know what? I don't know who. In her head, she's like, I don't know who this little white girl is.
No, she does know because I saw video footage of them at a Met Gala after party, and Cara, without invitation, kissed her, and then Meg grabbed her and pushed her back like that, settle down. Yeah.
That's okay. You see, you got.
That's what I mean by this woman is harassing people.
She shouldn't be allowed back.
She was. I didn't even click. I didn't want to hear the audio of what she was doing because it would have terrified me. Because my sleep paralysis demon will turn in and morph into Cara Delevingne if I continue to like it's against my will all the content I'm seeing, but her rapping lyrics in Lil Kim's face like backstage.
I didn't think we should have to say this, but you don't have to rap your favorite lyrics to your favorite rapper. Like it's not. They believe you when they say, "I love your work," you know, and just leave it at that.
So I'm saying there's meth in her coke, bro. There's something going on.
She's a menace. Look, not only was she doing that on the red carpet, flipping her dress and flipping her like multiple times, and God bless Meg because you know she's like, you know
she's
what?
Being a sweetheart and just like, I'm not about to drag this.
Yeah, I'm not about to drag this bitch. You know what? Whatever. It's okay. She's like a fly on the wall. Go ahead. And then we're sitting down. You know what I'm curious to see is who did Cara Delevingne pay to sit that close to both of them?
She invited herself. I'm pretty sure she did.
Bro, okay, because look, there wasn't a lot of because she's not a fucking singer.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of actors that close. Mm-hmm. Why was she the only one that was that close to when
There's a rumor going around on an Instagram account that I follow that I'll say, suggesting that that's her girlfriend.
Cara's Meg's girlfriend?
Yeah.
There's no way.
I don't know. That's just a rumor. There's
only thing
that makes sense. There's only thing that makes sense that she's been around that much, and I don't know.
And she hasn't smacked her by now.
Yeah.
She owes a great debt to her or something. I don't know. She might
or
maybe
her
she saved Meg's life.
Meg hasn't told her bodyguard like, hey, keep this white woman away from me.
Like, the funny thing is, like, Meg doesn't even need a bodyguard, but she's like, don't put me in the spot that I gotta do this.
Yeah. There's videos of her popping out behind Doja Cat. There's another one of her taking a photo of Fat Joe, Doja, and I forgot who the third person was in the photo, where she's laid down on the ground taking photos.
Hey, I have never, and I'll be honest, I've shot photography, and even in my dirtiest of clothes, I'm like, I hate that I have to get on the dirty ground.
Willingly jumped on the ground.
She, in her whatever fucking, I'm sure it was designer that she was dressed in, immediately, bow, shot down to the ground.
Like she's wearing fucking Sheen.
And I guess they were like, yeah, she's taking a photo. That's
like, you guys want a photo? I'll take it. Like she's fucking doing jujitsu.
She's like, you want a photo? She fucking sprawls out.
Bro, like she's doing jujitsu and went fucking full guard, and it's like, I'll fucking do this.
Y'all want to do this? Y'all want to do this?
Like, oh my god, it's hilarious. Shout out to the Billboard Music Awards. I saw.
Why is it that they were trying to like? I feel like they're trying to make a rivalry between Doja and Meg.
So there's no rivalry between them. What it is, would you agree that Doja Cat makes pop music?
Yeah.
Then why is she in every R&B category and no pop categories? And that's the argument is.
Oh, yep, that's a good point.
Is because she makes pop music, she doesn't make R&B, but because she's a black woman, they put her in R&B categories and say these are the words you can win.
This is the same argument as Tyler the Creator.
Exactly.
He's like, what about my music is urban?
And clearly it's not. I mean, he did make a Gangsta Grillz album, but even Igor wasn't an urban.
Igor, I mean, no, it was not urban.
And this has just been an ongoing issue that they don't allow, I guess, black artists to be pop stars. They don't call them pop stars.
No.
The only one was Michael Jackson, and they called him the king of pop.
But even then, his sound wasn't in. Because, okay, what I think of Doja is like she's very poppy and hip hop. Like she's in between that line of pop and hip hop. Like her sound is like that bubbly.
And people were saying like you could call her a hip hop artist before an R&B artist because she doesn't do R&B.
I would never in my wildest dreams ever say that Doja's R&B.
And we saw her set.
I loved her
at Coachella, and I'm like, yeah, she's a pop artist.
Yeah, she's that very fine line in between pop and hip hop because she does. Like she'll get into like certain pockets where she's rapping. Yeah. So that's what I could see. Like
she carries those elements into her music.
She teeters those lines depending on what she wants to go with.
But I'm not even a huge Doja fan, but I knew almost majority of her set because I've heard her music, whether it's on the radio, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere. Mm-hmm. That's pop music. It's not like it's a certain sound. It's just it's popular music. It's what's popular, and she's one of the most popular artists. And you can tell like they gave it to Olivia Rodrigo. all the pop awards. They're rolling her out as to
And
be like the new Taylor
all
Swift.
her shit was just fucking sad.
Yeah, and it's like, but why is she? That's what the issue is, and it's like it's almost like these award shows are pinning. They're the ones pinning Doja with Meg, and like against each other when it's not us doing it. Like we obviously would look at Doja and be like, yeah, you're a pop star.
Yeah.
Or you're well on your way. You make pop music. You're on your way to be a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
And watching her set, I'm like, oh, she's a fucking great performer. Like she has all of the qualities that you would look for in a pop star.
She has all the tangibles.
All
like
the tangibles.
She checks off a lot of boxes.
Yeah. And most importantly, she makes great pop music.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you? Like, I personally don't understand, and a lot of people on Twitter don't understand either. And that was the main issue.
Baffling why she's in R&B.
Yeah.
Why she'd even be in that category. Hip hop. If that's a category. Pop. She could be in both. How about that? How about you let her be in both and go from there?
Just if you didn't know, my thing is, if you didn't know who the person was that created it, let that be the deciding factor. Like whatever the music is, whatever the art is, whatever the movie is.
That's a good point.
Like, not that I'm against like the Latin Grammys and like Latin award shows or Black award shows. It's just like, but when it comes to Oscars, Grammys, take away ethnicity and race and just judge the art.
Yeah.
Stop putting a race label on it.
Yeah.
Because you're separating everything.
Because Bad Bunny is not pop. But I could say you can put Doja Cat in the same category as Bad Bunny, as like that's extremely popular music, and let that be a category in itself. Like
I would say with this album that just came out with Bad Bunny, he's making his way to that as well.
That's what I mean. Is like
he's one of the most popular artists in the world.
And even if he gets very poppy, it's still good at like reggaeton is reggaeton. Like it's always gonna sound like that. He can make it.
Those drums will never change.
No. So that's what I mean. Is they should. I get the Latinos always just have their separate thing, I guess. But there should be they should be all inclusive with it.
Yeah, it needs to be inclusive, and you judge the art.
Yeah.
What was the best?
Put Taylor Swift, Doja Cat, Bad Bunny in the category. Let the fans decide who's the best.
Yeah.
Are you scared because you have a feeling one of the artists is gonna get their fucking heart broken and now she's gonna make another album about it?
Yeah, she's been doing that since the beginning of her career. Harry Styles will tell you. Like, it's shit like that, and I appreciate. It's like you need to be proud of who you are. If you're Latino, be proud to be Latino. I get it. But also, it needs to be more inclusive. You need to have, look, if Bad Bunny made the greatest album that year, then he deserves to win Album of the Year. It shouldn't be, best urban album. It's like, why are you minimizing his achievement?
Yeah.
Not to say that that's I'm just using it as an example. So it's like, because I'm Latino, I'm strictly reserved for Latino awards.
And that's it. That's all I could ever win.
And it's
how dumb is that?
It's very dumb. It's been practiced for decades, and I never understood it. It's very segregation to me. And I would feel much better. Like, still have those, but that their albums, their bodies of work, whether it's singles, whether it's albums, need to be judged fairly with everybody else. Like, and I know music's bigger than our world, like whatever we listen to.
Yeah.
But there's no way you could tell me that some fucking country artist I've never heard of, or music white artist I've never heard of or never even heard their album was better than me going around to different parts of just California, Nevada, Arizona, and hearing this album from people that I've never met before in my life.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, numbers prove otherwise.
Yeah.
That's why he won all the Billboard Awards, because you can't deny his numbers. The Billboard Music Awards is supposed to go strictly off of numbers that they generate. And how are you going to go against the numbers if that's the criteria that you set?
Yeah.
That's the precedent you set, and it baffles me why you would put certain artists in these boxes and they can't come out of these boxes. Or you could just so you feel lucky to be nominated, but you'll never win.
Yeah. And we know why.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's getting to the point where people are talking about, like, and again, that's on us as a culture. We need to make it more important and prioritize, our award shows. Then, if we're gonna take away the weight that an Oscar and a Grammy carries and make, like, I don't know, the fucking Latin Grammys or the BET Awards on that same pedestal, it's on us to do that.
Yeah, it's on us to show up and show out, and then
Yeah.
it's also on us to not go to the other ones.
Yeah.
Like, not that you have to be like, oh, fuck them, but it's just like, no, well, these are what we value.
Mm-hmm.
If this is what you guys value, that's fine. But I'm not going to be here just to be like a charity case. Like,
Yeah.
because, we checked off this demographic. But it's like, but you're not really fair to my kind of music and my culture.
Yeah, and I get it. It should be separated by genre, not by ethnicity and race.
Yeah.
Like, Cody Jinks could put out an album. I'm not a country fan. I'm a Cody Jinks fan. He could win country album of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you put him in, and it's like, okay, you know what? You also qualify for album of the year.
Yeah.
You made it to you're a finalist, and it's Cody Jinks, fucking Kendrick Lamar, it's Bad Bunny, and it's somebody else. It's like
let the best artist win.
And it's like, I'm sorry, Cody. You'll probably write a song about how you don't care about this award show, but these other artists I could see, like, they deserve to win.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. And speaking of great albums, transition, because I don't want to give the BBMAs too much light. I don't want to give them more light than the BBLs, so we'll talk about Kendrick's album.
That didn't reference a lot of BBLs.
Mm-hmm.
But oddly enough, we were listening to the album as it debuted when we were making the juice.
And that's not an album to listen to while you're making juice.
No, it's not. It's fucking loud machines and all that. But it was an interesting way to fucking hear it the first time. It wasn't ideally how I thought I was gonna listen to a Kendrick album.
And also there was stuff going on with one of the juices we were making, so I was already kind of like, we were both getting frustrated. And then We Cry Together came on, and I was like, I can't listen to this. This is very.
It was.
I feel like I need to give this my undivided attention.
Exactly. And there was I would say, just like a lot of Kendrick albums, like, I took away from it. I was like, oh, this is a lot. I need to sit down with myself and my emotions and try to figure out, what did I listen to.
Yeah,
that's how I felt the first time. Now, after you go through the album another time, 2 more times, you can start to, like, appreciate things and just kind of see, wow, like, he's as good as advertised.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of people that didn't like I don't know who put a score out. They said like 7 out of 10, or I forgot what it was. Like
probably Pitchfork.
I saw it somewhere on Twitter, but like this major fucking, I guess, Twitter fucking media account had like a 7 out of 10. I was like, I mean, that's kind of quick to judge because the album just came out an hour ago.
Yeah, I didn't respect any ratings or not criticism, like conspiracy theory of like what the album's about, like giving me your full ass fucking breakdown.
How you gonna
dive? And like the album's been out an hour. How are you gonna
how you gonna do a deep dive?
Yeah,
and you just listen to it once. You can't do that.
You can't even process everything that he was talking about.
No,
like it took. I've listened to it every day, and even I won't even go back to back listen to it. I'll listen to it and then just like, okay, let me process what I just listened to, and then I'll go back to it like maybe a couple hours later. I listen to it in the gym, listen to it driving around, listen to it in different settings, and it's heavy, everything he talked about, that there's no way you could digest all of it in one listen. Like during when after our event, like we're all kicking and somebody asks like, how do you feel about the Kendrick album? I feel like I gotta listen to it 10 more times,
and maybe then I will like get the full grasp. Like it's like there's those movies like whether it was Inception or just
fucking Doctor Strange,
anything with Christopher Nolan. I guess like you think you might understand it the first time, but you watch it on your 5th time, you're all, oh shit, I was way off, or I was like, this went completely over my head, and it was right in front of you. You listened to it, you watched it.
And it's little shit that you're not paying attention to, like the name of the album. I finally understood the name of the album probably yesterday,
and I still don't understand it.
It's everybody portrays Kendrick to be like the track savior, but like the morality guy.
Yes.
Like, and that's 100%. What he's Mr. Morale, like that everybody paints him out to be.
Yeah.
And the big steppers. Now, the tap dancing throughout the album is you tap dancing around the issues. And he's telling you throughout the album, you guys are making me out to be like I'm this morality barometer or measure of like a good human, when I've cheated on my girl several times.
I'm just a man.
I'm just a man that's flawed, and my wife thinks I have an addiction to sex. Like
a lot of our better greatest artists always do.
dude, like you guys
that,
put him on this pedestal, and he's trying to tell you I am flawed.
Yeah.
And now he put out this album where he's telling you to his face, look, I fucked a white girl in Copenhagen, and I ain't been right since. Like I feel bad. I feel like my ancestors are turning in their grave. I can't even look my girl in the eye, but I keep fucking these. I don't know why. And then he ties it at the end of the album. It's because he's been sexually assaulted since he was a kid. Mm-hmm. And he looks at all these other rappers, and he can tell just by looking at them, like, you've been sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
You've been sexually assaulted.
Which is a crazy thing to think about.
And he said he knows stories like they've told him. He's not going to say any names.
Yeah.
But there was a video that went out, and this is why men don't speak about their trauma, because D. Ray Davis told a story about two 30-year-old women sexually assaulted him when he was 11 years old. He was on DJ Vlad talking about this, and Vlad's laughing at him, and he's telling them like, yeah man, like two women there, they weren't pretty, and they held me down, and they forced me to have sex with me. He's like, that's why I can't go down on women, because he has trauma of that incident.
Yeah.
Of like, he said there was a lot of hair. There was like, it scarred him.
Well, yeah. Well, think about it, bro. I'm trying to think about myself at 11. I'm like, if that was this, I would be scared to go outside.
Dude, and it's like, you can laugh at him, and it's like, and that's something that he's divulging about his past, that he probably spoke to a therapist several times. And like, think about the women of his past. And he even says like, if we've dated and I went down on you, like,
I must have loved you.
Like it was a battle.
Yeah.
Like I really loved you.
I was probably struggling the whole time.
And it's shit like that. It's like, bro, like we can mask it all we want. Like Kendrick said, with the chains, with the tattoos, with how we treat women, and our big bravado and this and that. Like I don't need a woman. This, like you have trauma. Mm-hmm. That you need to address and go to therapy, and we all are glamorizing it. And if you even mention it, that you've been assaulted or that anything's ever happened to you, oh, you're just a bitch, man up.
Yeah, like you're complaining about having sex, get over it, dude.
Get over it, dude. You're lucky. It's like, you're lucky. Mm-hmm. This man was held down by probably two overweight women and assaulted him.
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest of experiences, I guarantee it.
And let that be reversed. They'd
those,
say, throw him underneath the jail, fucking give him the death penalty.
Yeah, gotta kill him.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the society we live in, and that's what he was talking about on the album. From beginning to the end, he's talking about, we got to stop tap dancing around these issues. All of us need to go to fucking therapy, and so we could stop with this generational trauma. Like, imagine, and I was listening to a podcast where they talked about it, like, his girl, I'm not going to say her name because it escapes me right now, but she's been with him since high school.
Yeah.
And for her to view his cheating as, you have an addiction and something happened to you.
Yeah.
And him not even knowing, like, sometimes it's been talked about, I've heard, like, you kind of black out certain memories if a traumatic experience happened to you.
That's why it's always so interesting when I hear a lot of people of like when they say, I don't remember a lot about my childhood.
Yeah.
Because I know plenty of people that do and plenty of people that don't. And I'm not saying like that's the first thing I think of, like, oh, you were probably abused or anything, but in my head I'm like, you probably blocked out a lot. For it might have not been overly traumatic, but there was a lot of issues that were you were as a kid,
your brain, your subconscious did that.
Yeah, like it just and it might not even be fucking, I don't know if you could erase memories.
No,
but it's blacked out to the point where you can't get to those memories, but they're there,
and it comes out in little instances of, like, you can blame like, oh, my father wasn't there, and stuff like that, and like this, and like I grew up around my dad being what's the term cheating on my mom, but there's a term for that. What's the proper
adultery?
Adultery, like just
infidelity.
There it is. I almost said infertility. Infidelity with my mom, and that, unknowingly I learned from that, and that's why, like, I have issues with commitment. Because it's like, you got to put yourself in the shoes of, these are the two examples I see of love every day. And then to realize, like, you pull back the curtains and he's been cheating on her for so long, and it's like everything is a lie. Not to say it's an excuse, it's a reason, and you need to go to therapy to handle that.
Yeah.
And to settle it. Like, you can never unremember a memory, or you can't dig up trauma to just erase it. No, you got to learn to deal with it, because it's coming out in your everyday life,
whether you know it or not.
And that's something that her perspective to say, like, you have an addiction and there's something wrong here.
But you see, and that's what.
Versus most women would be like, just fucking straight argue, like, and we cry together.
Yeah.
And continue the trauma.
Yeah, yeah. Which most women just are. Not most. I'm not gonna say that, but I'm sure because it's vice versa. Guys or girls, your partner would just argue and just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But somebody that knows. Think about it. She knows him to his core because she knew him when nobody else knew him.
Yeah.
She knows that this isn't really you. I know who you are.
Yeah.
And you're doing this, and you look. Obviously, there's a problem here, and I could have easily just walked out. Just me and my kids and go.
Yeah.
But she's like, how would that make me as a partner of just abandoning you when I know you have.
If anything,
if
that
I know
would
there's
add
an issue,
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's an issue here, and I could just leave you, but I choose not to. It's like a fucking mechanic that knew there's something wrong with your car.
Yeah.
He's up. I mean,
you just drive out. Like,
you could just drive out.
Is there anything else that you know about?
Nah, you'd be all right.
Yeah, and it's that. It's like him learning about like his mom telling him that he was assaulted because the only reason she knew is because she was when she was a kid, and then the auntie's diary about his aunt and her growing up and just you not knowing, like, if we're all having an honest moment, we've said that F word and we didn't know the weight behind it. No. We didn't know exactly what it meant. We've seen it in TV shows and movies and talked about, like, it's been brought up in everyday life, and we didn't know. Like, a lot of us growing up is unlearning things. Unlearning a lot.
That's majority of your adolescence.
And it goes on all the way to, because if you don't expose yourself to different ways of thinking, if you're just constantly in your echo chamber of life, you're never gonna know.
No.
And in that song is him talking about that, like, yeah, I said this word, but and he delivered it in a way of like I had to learn that this was wrong what we were doing, and I can't undo what I did, but moving forward, and just talking about how his cousin had a sex change, and like, and the way the song ended was like, you could say it all you want, as long, like, you could keep saying it if you let that white girl say the N-word.
Yeah.
If you keep letting that happen, then you can say this word. And it's like, it carries the same weight, and to be sometimes you have to put it into perspective for people to understand, like, no, this is bad.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you don't know. It's unlearning. It's kind of like, and that's a hell of a thing within itself of like, oh wow, some people I know, whether it's family or stuff, like, oh, that's very insensitive, that's homophobic, that's this, that's that. It's like, oh fuck, where did they learn it? Like, this is generational.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to be that. Well, I mean, not that the asshole, but
it's kind of, you didn't ask for it, but it's kind of on you whether you're gonna continue it or you're gonna break it.
And for those people that aren't even aware of it, to correct them. It's many times. I wouldn't say many, but it's been a few occasions where I've had to like correct people in my family. Can't say that.
Yeah.
And I get it. Older generation, you didn't really think there was an issue with it, so I can't blame you for it. But you know that there's an issue now, so whether you want to change that, that's on you. And I can't defend you if something happens because it's warranted.
Yeah. And that's how, and I could see people, like, same thing with To Pimp a Butterfly. I could see people, it doesn't sound like music you grew up with. You're not a fan of like the jazz or like these certain elements of the music. That I can't argue with. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you know what? I get it. But message, this album is art. It's telling you from track 1, it's a double disc from track 1 all the way to track 18. It's teaching you something. It's telling a story. It's delivered in the most Kendrick way possible. He's telling you all these artists aren't your saviors. Stop looking at them to be your North Star on how you should be, and be a fucking human being.
I never understood that in the first place.
But that's also what we talked about at the gym. This kind of goes along with that of, that's also what society pushes for us to be like. Like, growing up, we weren't really taught of the prominent fucking smart Latino people in the world. We weren't taught about, we were taught about Martin Luther King. We weren't really taught Malcolm X. We weren't taught about these other people. I didn't know of fucking brain surgeons that weren't white.
Yeah.
I didn't know of like it's just we weren't taught these things, so you don't know. And what you do see every day is your favorite music artist, your favorite actor, your favorite whatever, name it, that or sports player, like football, basketball, baseball. That's what you see all the time. That's what's easily accessible to you. That's what's on basic cable. But how often do we highlight success stories that are people that look just like you, came from areas just like you, but they're fucking the best lawyer in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Or they're the, you know, the number one neurosurgeon or like shit like that. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a fucked up thing because we tend to idolize most of the time the things that are most entertaining at the moment, and I never really got into that because it wasn't really. I mean, there's artists I loved and stuff like that, but it was never anybody I wanted to be. Because I would see, and I've always had this thing with like movies, you know, but like I hate fucking movies with that always depict like Mexico as like cartels, and I hate shows like that. There's a lot of things I always have problems with because people are idolizing these things that are always not in the best of light, and I tend to think there's more than people than what's on fucking entertainment. So just idolizing, I don't know. I always looked at people. It sounds very dumb, but like when I was young, I would idolize like semi drivers. I always thought they were like the coolest people ever. I don't know why. I don't know if it was like a kid thing or like kids always like trucks or like tractors and stuff like that. I always looked to those people. I was like, that's what I want to be one day. And not in the sense of like,
not dumb. I thought the same thing about firefighters.
Like, and right, and I think as we got older, and it's like, oh, we were exposed to like music and other movies and things like that. It kind of changed because that's what's popular. That's what girls like, or that's what guys should like. And I feel like there's never anybody to tell you like, oh, maybe you should idolize that person. Maybe you should look as that person as your role model.
Yeah, and I read a lot as a kid. My mom forced me to read a lot. We were at the library every summer, and I read a lot of biographies and autobiographies on athletes and music artists, and I started learning like, oh wow, some of these guys are pieces of shit.
Yeah,
this is like, I would never do that. And it's like you would never know because if you just watch the fucking NFL on Saturday, oh, he just run for 150 yards.
Yeah,
like,
but that's
oh,
all you see.
That's all you see. But then you don't see the rest of it. It's like, oh no, that's not who we should be aspiring to be.
Yeah.
Like the one artist that I really idolize and want to be like is a flawed human being as well, but like he was politically active. It's Bob Marley. Like politically active. He stood for unity. He stood for like a lot. Now, was he a polygamist? Yes. And some people view that negatively. I can understand because I try to put myself in that shoes or try to hear that side out, and I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I understand. But everybody's flawed. If we just openly admit we're all flawed human beings, stop pretending to be perfect, and also stop idolizing people that you don't know. You don't know these people.
Yeah, it's always been it's weird to me. It's like the whole idolization of people you don't know. Like,
but to that same token, I grew up in the same house with my dad. Idolized my dad. I didn't know who my dad was. You never know people. You don't know them.
No, you idolize qualities. Yeah. Like I always respected the fact of like like the one thing I could always like fall back on no matter what is like hard work. And like I've noticed that like whether it's like my dad or certain uncles, like they may not have a lot, but that's the one thing they have. And I can like I was always like very proud of that. I was like I idolized because I could understand it of like you like no matter what, you're breaking your back all day, you're doing all these things, but guess what? You're still going to be at home. Your family's going to be well off. You're going to be able to do a few things, and you know what? That's enough. Like because not that they didn't aspire for more, but in their head they're all, why do I need more?
I took from that, and that's something that my dad taught me as well because he's a hard worker. But I work this hard. You need to understand work ethic. You need to understand stop complaining and make it work. But you should not be doing what I'm doing. I work this hard so you don't have to work this hard. Yeah. And you need to learn the principles of it. And granted, I work in the same industry as my dad, but like it's things like that of like you could learn because you need to understand. You have to have a healthy perspective on life and understand what real work is. And yes, don't minimize your problems, but understand like, yeah, you're complaining about this when in your same house, this person's working in 120-degree weather and isn't complaining.
It doesn't say a single word.
And it doesn't mean that person's morally on a more moral higher ground than you, because that person could still be a piece of shit and clocks in, clocks out, works hard, never complains, but god damn is this guy racist.
Yeah.
Anything could be possible. Everybody's flawed, so I get what you mean. But yeah, like having a full think piece on this album, like, bro, it's not gonna be like a Drake album where you're just putting your all these hits together, these songs. It's not cohesive, but hey, it's fucking rinse repeat,
Yeah.
copy paste, put this in, all right, feed that to them, and in fucking 4 more months we'll give them something else. It's not that. You need to digest this album, listen to it, and just at the very least you can at least acknowledge what it is in its art. It's something that a lot of artists aren't doing.
He's trying to tell y'all, stop idolizing these people.
Idolize somebody in your community, somebody that you know, somebody that you are just better role models. And it doesn't have to be solely based on success either. That's where I have a problem sometimes. Is don't get me wrong, like those neurosurgeons and that all that is great, but being whether it's like a truck driver, whether it's a postal worker, whether it's like just regular everyday a lineman, like who works electrical union, like just things like that, like those people are role models too. Like don't ever like take that away from them, that they can't be a role model because they don't live this fancy life or they don't have all this money. I tend to think the more money you have, probably a lot of times it's not good. It solves a lot of problems, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
I've
never seen a sad face on a jet ski.
No, you haven't. But when they get off the jet ski and they go home into their big mansion all alone, might be a little different.
That's why they call it escorts.
But yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we hit on that one. We can go.
I mean, we'll end it off on this one because we're already getting close to an hour in. There was 2 shootings over the weekend.
Yeah.
And
would you consider the second one a mass shooting? Does that qualify? I don't know what the number needs to be.
I don't. I think if it's mass, it needs to be more than 4 or 5, I believe.
I
or
guess
maybe
it does qualify.
Maybe over 2. I don't remember. I know there's a number.
In my book it does.
Yeah,
I'll just say that in my book it does.
But yes, there was 2 shootings, major shootings. There's shootings all over the United States, but notably in Buffalo.
This is domestic terrorism.
That's more domestic terrorism, where a young white male did put it upon himself to cross state lines, drive, I believe it was about 6 hours, and
6 or 3 hours. Either way, drove
out of his way to a predominantly black area and proceed to take the life of innocent people. And then there's also
10 people,
and then there was also a shooting in Orange County here in California, where I believe a Chinese man went into I don't know if it was Thai or Taiwanese, one of the two, into one of the temples and proceeded to try to do the same. It was, I don't know if it was racially motivated. It might be more culturally motivated. That one's a little bit hard to speak on. I can only really speak on the one that we followed a lot.
But the one in Orange County, rest in peace to the doctor that tackled the shooter.
Yes.
And made the initial effort to subdue him. They ended up disarming him, hog tying him, and waited until the authorities came.
Yeah, obviously, he suffered some wounds and he didn't make it. But
and another man that drove, didn't it say he was from Las Vegas?
He was from out of state. He drove from Vegas, and yeah, terrible. But I think we spoke about the issues long enough in terms of, the problems that we do have in this country. As progressive as we like to think we are, there's still as progressive as we are a lot on the coast, it's not so much the case in the middle. And even in the coast, the U.S. Because don't get me wrong, there's parts of Huntington Beach here, like we know better. We know the experiences. There's problems. Obviously, there's divide in the country, but you can only speak on that so much before you're like, okay, well, obviously, if we know there's problems, what are we doing to solve the problems? If we know that people are going to be, and this doesn't even have to be a mass shooting thing. If we know people are going to be shooting each other and killing themselves, what are we doing to make sure that this isn't happening? How can we limit the damage?
Yeah.
And to me, it's very simple in terms of gun regulation. And before all you Second Amendment fucks start fucking getting a boner right now, relax. I'm not saying take away guns. What I'm saying is it shouldn't be harder for me to get a driver's license than it is for me to get a gun. And the age of which you get a gun, me personally, I feel is too low. I don't believe you should be 18 or even 21 for that matter to get a gun. I think there should be levels to it. And don't get me wrong. Oh, well, if I'm in the military and I'm 18, I can shoot a gun. Yeah, you can shoot a gun because you're properly trained on it around people that have shot guns their whole life. So yeah, in that scenario,
Properly trained in de-escalation as well.
yeah. So for that scenario, I'll give it to you. But if you're a civilian, stay the fuck out of this.
And we have too many instances of these mass shootings, this domestic terrorism being racially motivated.
Yeah.
And time again, we talk about it, and we sound like to some of those people that you're speaking about of trying to take the guns, trying to do this, and we're saying defund the police, properly train them, because we see it in several instances where an unarmed person of color, a black person, is going to get shot. I've seen, Mexican males in Los Angeles get shot and when they're detained by police. And every time there's a white active shooter, they're very
Heavily armed.
They're very nicely detained. They are put in the police car. They may have given them a fucking water bottle.
Bro, multiple warnings. Oh, don't you remember that motherfucker they stopped at Burger King for in the drive-thru?
I remember the guy that was waving a knife at the police, and they kept telling him and they had guns pointed at him, and the cop didn't want to shoot him.
Yeah. Oh, but if it was anybody else, they would have.
And that's been the issue that we're speaking about, if people just fucking listen.
Yeah.
Now this incident in Buffalo, this tragic, horrific incident, was live streamed on Twitch. I don't know if Twitch fucking made a statement about it, but it looked not real until I saw him get out of the car, and I just couldn't watch it further. I've heard other people speak on it, and they've seen the whole video, and that's not something I don't want to keep desensitizing myself to this stuff. We heard many reports. I can date this from my memory all the way to the Dark Knight premiere in Colorado.
Yeah.
And the reason why they don't do the one mass shooting, they changed how they do movie premieres now. It's not everybody goes on Friday. They scattered it. And for that reason, it's nobody who has been diagnosed or suspected of a mental illness should
ever be allowed to own a gun, because that person was a year before he was threatened to shoot his classmates at graduation. Obviously got locked up, mental institution, got out within a year after. He goes ahead and fulfills his promise, doesn't go ahead and kill his graduation mates, but he goes out and commits mass murder.
Yeah.
So
it had a whole manifesto on this, and I know I've heard the arguments, I've seen it where, oh, statistically, white people get shot and killed in these shootings as well. Yeah, when the person is going to their school to kill their bullies, and is out for revenge before they're shot, or if they're even shot, it's
and that doesn't demean it either. It's like, look, just white people die too. Even more fucking.
We're arguing nobody should.
Like that's just fucking stupid semantics.
Those people went on was it Saturday afternoon to go buy groceries, and they didn't get to go home to their families.
Think about that.
Like,
it's the same thing that happened in Walmart. Remember? I forgot what part of Texas, El Paso.
Yeah.
Where it's all Latino, and that guy drove from I forgot what part of fucking Texas, drove there.
I think on the other side of Texas.
Yeah, and fucking killed all those people.
And we keep making this argument of like these people in power and places of influence, they are using, abusing, and failing to acknowledge they love the power, but they hate the consequences that come with it. And one of the right-wing political pundits, Tucker Carlson, endorsed this great replacement theory that is basically white genocide, where they're saying that they're trying the government, that the left wing is trying to replace white people with minorities, with black people, with brown people, and they're trying to push them out of the country and take over.
We're trying to go. We keep granting visas. We keep doing new immigration laws to bring these people in. And guess what? Over time, there's gonna be a lot less white people. So guess what? A lot less white people, a lot less more voting power. Guess what? Now we don't have say.
Yeah, and that was stated in the shooter's manifesto. Like, say what you want, blame it on mental illness, yes, but this person drove 3 hours to this black neighborhood to go ahead and do exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
And kill people, as many as he could. And when he saw a white person on video, you could see this, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and just kept going. Yeah. And apologized and kept going to go kill more black people. And what are we talking about now? Like, my family owns guns, his family owns guns, I have friends that own guns, and what I've been preaching, I've stood on this hill for years, is yes, you should have a right to bear arms to protect your property and your family. But you should not be allowed, like he said, it shouldn't be harder for you to get a driver's license than it is to get a gun license. You shouldn't be allowed to have these semi-automatic rifles and you're mentally unstable. This also ties into the lack of funding in our healthcare system. We don't have proper funding. People aren't getting the proper treatment. There's people walking around with undiagnosed PTSD, with mental illnesses and all this stuff, and they can still own a gun. Yeah. I know people that have guns that at a fucking moment's notice, they could flip a switch, see red, and reach for their gun. Yeah. And that's not okay. I shouldn't feel afraid walking around. And not to say I do feel afraid, but we've been so desensitized to it that sometimes we look around. I've had my mom say, like, be careful going to Coachella because you don't know if a shooter's going to be there. Why do I have to worry about that? Why should I have to be worried?
We go to Coachella all the time.
Why should I have to be worried? And that, not to say that that's not a possibility. That very much could be like a fucking worker snuck a gun in, or somebody that pretended to be a worker. I've seen plenty of videos of people pretending and making a fake fucking worker's pass, or a photography pass, and I've seen you guys make fake vaccination cards. I've seen you make fake test results. Like, so much can happen in today's society, and we just, like, everybody just wants to protect their fucking guns, but nobody wants to protect people.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
That's the biggest thing. And again, it's always to be the second amendment people that are going to be fucking, oh no, they're trying to take our guns. Oh, this is where it starts. This is a slippery slope. Hey man, if you want to protect, if you love your gun more than you want to respect a person, then at that point, how about this? How about we group all you fucks together that love your gun so goddamn much? We put you on a fucking island, and you know what? Hash it. Or, you know what? Just, we'll leave you be. Yeah. Since you guys you love your gun so much and that's all you want, okay, that's fine. Go somewhere else. Yeah. The rest of us don't want to operate like that, and nor should we have to.
I'm not saying you shouldn't own your guns, but you should probably do a few psychological tests before you're allowed to but buy and purchase a certain level of firearm.
I say this once and I say it again. I have a gun, and I don't even know if I still think, I'm like, why should I be allowed to have this? Yeah.
And I know my both grandpas said that it's better to have and not need than to need and not have.
Absolutely. But in the case of, like, somebody breaks into my house, like, my gun's in another room. It's locked up. I was like,
by the time you get to it,
no chance. But guess what? I also have knives and bats right next to me. So if somebody comes in, well, I know my house. It's dark. I'm gonna be okay unless it's a fucking tactical fucking squad that's coming after me. At that point, I'm fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked regardless. And it's just, like I said, I have family in the military. Both my grandfathers were in the military, and both of them, my grandfather that was in the army doesn't even own a gun.
Riddle me that.
And it's like, bro, people are failing to acknowledge what's going on. Yes, I understand you need a gun to protect your property and to protect your family, but you're not understanding the other side of what is reality. Is these mentally unstable people or these racist people are going and are doing acts of domestic terrorism and that are racially motivated. You're not holding your political pundits to the same standard as, just because they speak in favor of what you believe doesn't mean they're not promoting something that is very, very harmful. It's the same shit we were saying with Trump and the whole attack on the Capitol. And he promoted it. He told you all to do it. And
show up.
We're marching down there right now.
Show up and show out.
And I saw somebody make an argument about Charles Manson. He was never there when the murders happened. He
Never
didn't
committed-
kill any.
yeah.
He didn't kill anybody. But he was charged for those murders because he influenced those people to do it, and he
Yeah.
told them to do it. So like,
how is what Tucker Carlson does any different?
it was a montage of different instances where he's backing this fucking theory.
Yeah.
And saying that it's political and that it's a fact, and then all of a sudden this shooting happens, and now he's trying to distance himself and Fox News away from it and saying, no, that's not what I was saying. No, that's not what happened. It's like, bro, we live in an era where we could pull up the receipts.
Yeah.
But even that's not even enough sometimes.
No.
People get away with this shit. It's like, bro, what more do you want? If you can admit, if I'm willing to admit, like, yes, you need a gun to protect your house and your family, you can also admit there are people that shouldn't be allowed to own these guns.
Absolutely.
Two things can be true. I'm not trying to take away your gun, but I'm trying to make sure that this person doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Because at any moment this person can become unhinged and take it out on society or the people that fucking didn't hug them enough.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy because it's
or
like,
her.
In my head, it's very simple. Of like the age is like, look, I don't think if you have to be at least, there should be levels to this. If you're 18, cool, you can buy cigarettes. You're 21, cool, you can start buying alcohol now. You're 25, cool, you can get into the process now of buying a gun.
Yeah. Let your brain, your
Fucking
frontal
develop.
cortex develop. We're speaking about men. Your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25.
Like it to me, it makes so much sense. I understand it would be so fucking hard to pass.
Yeah.
But that's why I hate sometimes. I fucking study politics. I fucking hate it. But for that fucking reason, because it's like the most logical things
Are the hardest.
hardest to pass.
Yeah.
Hardest to pass.
It's such a weird time we live in because sometimes I sit and question what year are we in. I thought we were in 2022. They're fucking trying to regulate women's bodies. They're trying to ban abortions. It's like there's still fucking mass shootings going on. Everything's still racially motivated. There's segregation. And yeah, is it a great time because we have fucking iPhones? Yeah. But on that iPhone, I could watch somebody fucking kill people on Twitch.
Yep.
And that's an issue. That's like we're living in it looked like the beginning of that looked like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
It looked fake. And I'm like, this is real. Like I try not to even watch, like, sometimes people post it on Twitter, like somebody fall off a building and
like
just
that.
And I try not to see, like, it'll happen and I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, and the fucking sound always sticks with you.
Dude, it's like, why do we keep desensitizing ourselves to death?
No.
Why? America, as much as we want to project how great we are, we're fucked. And you can't give examples to support your argument of like, oh, so you just want us to become China or North Korea? It's like, well, hold on. Australia took away their guns as well. Happened once. They took away their guns, and I don't see anybody fucking complaining in Australia. I mean, yes, because of COVID, I understand, but nobody was saying like we feel unsafe against our government.
Never once.
We at any moment our government could break down our doors and enslave us all. They could initiate martial law if they even have it over there. I don't even fucking know. I think there's so many American terms. I don't even know that the rest of the world abides by it
or even knows of those terms. And it's hilarious because it's like, oh, you think with your few pistols and few rifles,
you're taking on the government?
Yeah, you think you're taking on government?
Yeah, your homie that you went to high school with that went in to be a Marine, they're probably gonna send him to your front door and be like, okay, go get the guns.
Yeah, and guess what? They're trained to do this.
Sorry, man.
Yeah,
I'll shoot you in the leg, I guess.
Yeah,
but if it's between my life and yours, I'm going home. I'm going home.
I can't think twice.
Exactly.
You're done.
Exactly. So all this shit about you're such a great a fucking American and your 10 fucking I was gonna say commandments, but your fucking amendments or whatever the fuck. Like but see. As I try to walk a thin line with it, but it's this. I view religion the same way.
I understand what you're saying.
It's so fucking. It's just we gotta stop, bro. It just sometimes like you're saying, bro. It just makes too much sense, and people are like, no,
you can't pass it. It won't pass.
I just don't want. I just don't want the mentally unstable homie to own a fucking gun.
It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
I don't want the kid that's been watching Fox News and believes in this great replacement theory to come down to fucking El Super and shoot up all the fucking senoras that are shopping.
Guess what, guys? If he was a racist at 18, you know what? Who's to say he's gonna have that same hate and racism at 25 or 26 when he's able to get it? Like, just think about stuff like that. How much stuff you could have prevented by making people wait.
Dude,
It sounds dumb, but you would be surprised. You would be surprised even if it's a fractional fucking difference you make. Well, that fractional difference over time, that's a lot of fucking lives.
and it's you could look at it and it's
That's why a
always
lot of people were pissed off about it. They were so pissed off about. What do you mean I can't buy my gun today?
Mhm.
Oh well, you need to go through like background. It's gonna take about 2 weeks. Why the fuck am I gonna wait 2 weeks? This is stupid.
like for me, if I was buying the register, I'm like, this is exactly why you have to wait, because
Yeah,
now
like,
you're getting angry with me because I'm telling you have to wait a day. You can't wait one fucking day. Dude, what are you gonna do, bro? Fucking jerk off this gun? What are you doing with this gun,
bro,
sir?
and it was hysterical to hear because when I and it was the weird. I hate to do this. It was a lot of the same energy that I felt like at certain gyms.
Yeah.
With those people, because as I was taking a test, I was hearing these people of like people from different states. What do you mean I can't get it right now? Like, wait, what? It's not. I have to register. Why? It's from a different state, and it's just I was like taking the test, and I'm like just hearing these things. I'm like, and I even felt uncomfortable with. I was like, these are the same fucking morons that would get mad, and like you said, we're in a gun store. They probably have their own guns in their car.
Yeah.
I was like, these are the same fucking morons that would do it. And I was at that point when I was hearing these conversations, like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and turn my back because I need to go ahead and see what's going on in front of me now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because like I told the guy, I was like, I need to move,
Mm.
and he didn't understand why. But I was like, just
He's like, sir, I deal with this every day. These are the type of people that own guns in your community.
yeah. And it was just it's the weirdest fucking things, but it's those fucking conversations that happen. You're just like, yeah, I get it. I see why.
Bro, and can you Google real quick how many women if there have been any women that went out and committed like the fucking what's the term I'm looking for? Like mass shooting? Cuz I don't think I've ever heard. It's always been males. And I've stood firm on this as well. I believe women should.
Oh wow.
So, no, you're right. Between May of 82 and May of 2022, there's been 122 mass shootings that have been carried out by males. Only 3 were by women.
And I've been saying this.
122 to 3.
122 to 3. That's ridiculous. But it goes to what I'm trying to say of like, I feel women need to have the right to carry arms to protect themselves from you fucks that have guns. I don't understand.
25 for males, 21 for women.
Like I just don't. I don't hear like, yeah. Am I afraid if a woman in the middle of my sleep, I'm gonna wake up to a knife at my throat?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm terrified, but I'm never thinking. Yeah, no, a woman's gonna come up into this grocery store right now and shoot all of us.
Never thought of it once.
Never thought of it once.
Mm-mm.
But you always like it. I shouldn't have to walk around my community or walk out and that be in the back of my mind. Always be alert and conscious. Yes,
And
be defensive. Be aware of your surroundings. But why do I have to be afraid?
yeah, I'm always aware. I always have to think of these things. I'm never afraid. Most of the time, I'm never really afraid of where I'm at.
Mm.
But and again, this is coming from a male's perspective. A woman is constantly, not to say I'm afraid, but she has to always constantly be on the edge because she's at a disadvantage most places.
And we're not even bringing up the fucking country music festival in Vegas that happened, or that country concert where that guy
Route
was
91?
shooting. Huh?
Route 91.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you're not even safe there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, and it's a country festival. I hate to do this. I hate to put people in boxes, but probably a lot of those people that were attending are pro Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Pro gun. And it's like, this guy walked up and down this hotel with fucking bags of guns and proceeded to shoot at everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think like maybe if there was stricter tests, people are going to get guns. There's a black market for everything, but make it at least a little harder.
Yeah. We're not doing any dent to make sure, or we're not doing any damage to make it harder on them.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with it. And in my head, what trips me out sometimes, like, fuck, you know what? we have these conversations, and I hope that by the time it's people of our age that are able to be in office, we're just not unanimous, but we're all along the same line of like, all right, this is stupid fucking law, right? Like,
Can we all agree?
Can we all agree? We can fucking change it now, right? It's not our fucking grandpa anymore doing this.
Yeah.
But then I think sometimes I'm sure that might be what people thought 30 years ago in the generation before us.
Yeah.
And they're all, oh, well, it hasn't changed. That's what worries me sometimes. They're like, I hope it's our generation that's that smart to change it.
I think ours and the one after that, but it's also our generation that's a part of desensitizing everybody with these POV shooting games, and like it's that's why I'm saying, like, I looked at that and I thought it was a video game. It's like, why do I think that? Oh, because since I was a kid, there's been fucking Rainbow Six, there's been Grand Theft Auto, there's been so many Call of Duty that. And then there's a whole generation of people growing up playing these games constantly, and they think life is a game.
Yeah.
And
stuff.
I mean, and also, if any of these potential mass shooters saw the first motherfucker shooting get shot and killed instantly, they'd probably rethink what they're doing. But if you constantly put a bulletproof vest on these guys, gently arrest them and put them in the car and let them go to trial, it's gonna keep happening. Because if I see the consequences, like as a kid, okay, what happens if I steal this piece of candy? Nothing happens. Or if a sibling does it, or they steal a shirt, nothing. They don't even get, or they get caught and they get a slap on the wrist. It's like, oh, there's no consequences to this. Oh, let me just fuck it. If I'm gonna do it, let me do it, and I'll suffer those are the consequences. Like,
bro, and I get it. I hate the fact cruel and unusual punishment. We can't do it. That's the one I might take out, because guess what? If it's a thing now, like if mass shooters go in, oh, they get to be tortured every day for the rest of their life now. Guess what? Mass shooters might now think, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't, do this.
Yeah. Because
I'm young. I'm gonna have 60 years of torture every single day of my life. That doesn't.
Or solitary confinement. You only get out on the yard for like 30 minutes, an hour. You get outside.
How about we do torture and that? Yes.
Torture. You gotta listen to Olivia Rodrigo's music.
Hey,
in a white padded wall room. That's to me. When I remember our argument, I think a year ago, a debate, whatever you want to say, about punishing
a death penalty. Yeah.
Death penalty. I was like, that's too easy. Leave them in a room by themselves and watch this person fucking eat themselves from the inside out and go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That is what I believe should happen for every mass shooter, every person that committed sexual assault on child rapist. Sorry for the R word, but like that's what should be going on here.
That's what I mean.
Leave people alone. There's people that if you don't talk to them, those just start thinking about the possibility. They'll go crazy.
Yeah.
You can't be left alone. That's the worst thing you could do to somebody, is make them feel alone. Do it. Up the consequences, up the requirements in order to up the background checks. Fucking make them look at ink blots. Something.
Yeah. Get creative. Please, America, get more creative for once, in the right terms.
Dude, it's ridiculous. And the sad thing to say is this is gonna keep happening. There's gonna be a couple months and another, it wasn't even 24 hours and another one happened.
Yeah.
And this wasn't even a white male, so this is on argument. We're saying the same thing of like, yeah, we're trying. This is not a race thing. This is fucking take away guns from people thing.
Yeah.
Make it harder for these people to get guns.
Yeah.
When we say these people, we mean these people that their intention is to inflict harm and to take lives.
Yes. It could be from their own people. It could be from other people. Doesn't matter. Does it matter who they're taking life away from? No. The point is they're taking away life.
Yeah. And I'm consistent around the board. I'm not in favor of the death penalty either.
Me either.
So, what can you tell me? Nothing really. I would love that. That's like, to have like I remember you brought up the instance where your classmate about the pro-life and pro-choice, like use an argument against me that doesn't involve religion.
Yeah.
And they couldn't.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Second
Amendment. Because the other
Amendment.
person could bring up science as to why this is necessary.
Yeah.
And the other person, And in my head, I was like,
Bring. You can't use the argument to protect your family and protect your home. Go. Tell me why you need a gun.
for sport,
Yeah, you don't need a semi-automatic for that. What sport are you playing? How many ducks are you gonna shoot in a second?
Yeah, and there's, hey, you know what? There's
You can't even shoot a duck with that kind of gun.
Yeah.
So what are we talking
you
about?
would completely fucking dismember it, and
Yeah.
you can't use it for what you want to use it.
Yeah. Oh, you're using it for hunting game. Well, how are you're gonna shoot a deer with a semi-automatic gun and eat lead? Another argument. Try it. Like it's
Next.
it's that simple of shit, bro. I'll never understand. I don't know why people got to make things so fucking hard. If there wasn't examples already of it being successful, then what are we arguing about?
It's literally, it's fucking insanity. Is of us fucking doing the same thing, thinking things are gonna change.
Yeah, and I understand why in the early stages of America, when it was the Wild West, everybody needed to own a gun. Yeah, because at any moment you could be challenged to a fucking duel, or some guy's gonna come fucking shoot you, take your wife, and fucking take off on a horse.
Yeah, I get it, guys. I get it.
I
Now,
fucking understand.
But guess
We've
what?
had presidents that were in duels.
literally, yeah.
I think it was Alexander Hamilton or somebody was in like 100 duels and constantly challenged people. That was his fucking thing.
Hey,
And he was our president.
yeah, because guess what? Nobody's gonna tell him to not be president.
But
'Cause now you gotta face him in a
there's
duel.
fucking barbarians of men, Davy Crockett looking motherfuckers that are just gonna kill people and pillage a town and move and change their name.
Yeah.
You gotta protect. We live in a society. We have our phones. We could find you out just by looking at a photo of you in a video. I've seen a guy on TikTok. He saw who was sitting ringside. All these women sitting ringside at the Canelo fight. In an hour, he found all of their Instagrams.
Yeah.
You tell me we can't do that today?
Yo,
Coachella.
it's me. I'm that guy.
It's me. I'm the guy. But at Coachella, they're not even they're implementing this new system of like it fucking scans you and takes video and photos.
It's biotechnology.
Biotechnology. Like, bro, we can find out everything about you.
Yeah.
What do we need to? Why do we need to keep fucking? Why do I gotta walk around with a gun?
Doesn't make sense.
I'm done with it. I don't know how many examples people need, and fuck, man.
One day I want a pro Second Amendment guy right here with us. I just to have conversation.
Well, I mean, the one person in our circle that he can't legally own a gun. So,
Sorry, big guy.
Sorry, big guy. But even then, it's like the bear at cut out all the bullshit. It's almost like, okay, just tell me that you want to own this gun because you want to, not because of anything. It's like nothing I say to you is going to be a compelling enough argument to sway your opinion because you just want to own it.
Just say that.
Yeah.
You're like a kid that's like, oh, I want that toy because it's his toy. Just say that. You don't even like the toy. You just want it 'cause it's his.
Things would be a lot easier if you said, you know what, we honestly don't give a fuck what you have to say. This was never about protecting our property or our family. We just want to own it. And because we have little dicks and we want to project our power onto people. Just say that. Hey, just say that. It'd be a lot easier. It'd save a lot of fucking time.
It save a lot of time. Hey, that's no problem. Go ahead.
Same guys that probably can't listen to Meg Thee Stallion because she be talking about little dick dudes and they get offended.
Bro, I'm telling you, a poor bastard, whoever fucking goes subpar and fucks her terribly.
Yeah.
'Cause she's gonna give you an album about it.
Yep.
Sweet to Meg.
Well,
guys,
that's the podcast this week.
We touched on a lot. So if you can, go ahead and follow the Juice page.
Follow the Juice Company. We're promoting health and trying to save people's lives.
That's what we do on this podcast, guys. We just want to make sure everybody's healthy, well balanced. You know, mental health's good, physical health's good. You're doing all right spiritually.
Going to the grocery store is good without, the worry of being attacked.
And if that's too much for us to ask, then I guess we're crazy.
Guess we're crazy. I don't know, man.
We just care so much. I'm sorry, guys. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. I won't apologize for caring. That I will not do. With that being said, please comment, like, subscribe again, share this. Please
send this to your favorite NRA, Second Amendment NRA homie.
Yeah,
and tell them to formulate.
Or girls, if you see like those guys on your timeline that are just constantly posting, their guns, you can send this to them. I have no problem. I'd encourage it. They might get mad. They might think we're fucking morons. I'll put you right in the front of the camera, big guy, and we can talk about it.
Or off camera.
Or yeah. We don't have to
Again, use an argument against mine of why you need your gun that doesn't involve protecting your property or protecting your family. And I will point you in the direction of the rifles you need to do those two things. And I'll also at the same token show you the guns that you don't need to do those things.
Mm-hmm. It's probably counterintuitive.
Probably causes more harm than good.
Yeah.
And if you're not properly trained on how to use this, I could see how things can get a little tricky.
Yeah. And if you're getting really mad about why you should have this gun, then I really don't want you to have this gun now.
And if you can't afford to put this in a proper safe to store away, you probably broke and you need to step your money up, and you shouldn't own this gun.
Yeah. You could have put that money for that gun in stocks. Maybe then, in 5 years you double, triple your money, and then you know what? Now you have money for a gun and a safe.
Or save up to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Crazy
Don't buy the carriage if you don't have a horse.
Precisely.
Kind of get the horse first,
I'm thinking of something else. I can't even say it.
No, I know. That's why I said it that way.
But please, guys, be safe out there. Y'all be safe. We love y'all. We miss y'all. Peace.
Deuces.